Mindseye released in June of 2025 for PC through Steam and both the Xbox and PlayStation 5 consoles, which is where I played it. The game had a very rocky start and received negative reviews on launch. But that was over 6 months ago, and the game has received multiple patches since then. Retailing for $30 and having a main campaign that's going to take you anywhere from 10 to 15 hours to complete, is Mindseye worth playing on console? This review is going to answer that question.
All right, come on. Can't be late for your first day, Mr. Security Man.
What, right now?
Right now. Welcome to Red Rock.
Man, is it always this hot?
You'll get used to it. Sorta. Not really.
Alright, let's begin the review, as we always do, by discussing the graphics and technical performance of Mindseye on console. Like I said at the beginning, Mindseye was hammered in reviews on launch for its poor performance and bugs, and unfortunately 6 months hasn't done much to fix that. The game doesn't feature a performance or a quality mode, just leaving you with the default option. And while its frame rate is steady, it does that thing that I hate of reducing the resolution and blurring everything in order to keep performance from tanking. I just don't understand why this game has to look like garbage in order to run properly, since it's not really anything outstanding. Compared to, say, Cyberpunk 2077 or even Grand Theft Auto 5, it's not that outstanding. The city's pretty bland and empty, the character models are fine but nothing special outside of cutscenes, and there aren't even that many enemies on screen at once. But for some reason, the developers needed to blur and pixelate everything just to keep it running. Honestly, there were times when I started to get a headache while playing, especially in the combat sections during the daytime. I would almost prefer FPS drops over whatever they did to make Mindseye run smoothly. Moving over to technical performance, the game isn't that buggy, and it didn't crash. But the enemy AI is absolutely brain dead. They get stuck on everything, or spin in circles, or just walk towards you, or stay in cover until you shoot them and they die. Mindseye was supposed to be this technical demo for this game creation tool that would let anyone build maps or levels to play in. But after playing Mindseye for myself, I would rather they never mention that at all, as I don't think this game was a good selling point for it. This game creation tool is present in the game, taking the form of some sort of flashbacks for the main character, but often they don't have anything to do with them at all. It's just an excuse to have this arcade-type shooter with a point system. It's absolutely bizarre and out of place, which is saying something since so much of Mindseye is just baffling to me.
This thing has ruined my life.
And that makes it okay for you to ruin mine?
You're right. I didn't think this thing through. I'm sorry.
Speaking of baffling and confusing, let's talk about the story of Mindseye. I believe, without a doubt, and not really doing any research on the development of this game before making this review, that large sections of the story were either changed or thrown out during development. It has all the hallmarks of a troubled development cycle. It feels just like Anthem or the first Destiny game, or about a dozen other games that had the story that just makes no sense, but bits and pieces of it are really interesting within it. But what's really bizarre is that I can tell that real money was spent on Mindseye. The voice acting is good with a recognizable cast, but the script and the dialogue is just not really good and needed to be rewritten. In my opinion, Mindseye is just like a Marvel movie with all the quips and the high budget, but it's directed by someone who'd never done a movie before. It's also a 10-hour story with 40 hours of content, meaning the pacing is off. The characters are underdeveloped, and things just happen with no build-up. The story of Mindseye takes place in, I would assume, the near future. Las Vegas is home to Elon Musk's Tesla SpaceX, and he's interested in launching rockets and building robots. Wait, to prevent a lawsuit, let's change Las Vegas to Red Rock and Elon Musk to Silva and the Silva Corporation. You play as Jacob Diaz, who is in the military, controlling drones with his mind through the use of the Mindseye, which is this device that's attached to his neck, when he enters the Assassin's Creed franchise and meets the Isu. He loses his memories and joins Silva Corp to figure out what happened since they built the tech. During that time, the story leaps around, introducing characters only to abandon them again, or story concepts that just don't matter at all. For example, the mayor of Red Rock is corrupt and is extorting Silva, but that doesn't matter to the narrative. There are spies in the Silva Corp, but that doesn't matter to the narrative either. Jacob Diaz is trying to find out more about the Mind's Eye, but that largely doesn't matter to the narrative until the end of the story. What matters the most to the narrative is that you're doing errands for Silva Corp, which include driving to a place, killing everyone at that place, then driving to another place to have a cutscene where people talk about stuff, then driving to another place to kill everyone again. That's the storyline. Eventually, after 6 or 7 hours of busy work for Silva, the real story starts. Aliens or extra-dimensional beings are introduced that sends robots crazy and you have to shoot them as well, along with the military for some reason. Confused? Yeah, that's about right for the story of Mind's Eye. Like I said, there's about 40 or 50 hours of storyline here, crammed and cut down to 10. And things like character development, side plots, or exposition is just thrown at the window along the way. There are so many characters that just leave the story for no reason, or interact with you as though you're best friends, even though they've only spoken with your character a handful of times. You start the game with a best friend, interacted with him about 4 times, and you live with him, then never see him again. You have a love interest that you see face to face twice, maybe 3 times, and you're assumed that they're supposed to be like the love of your life for some reason. Who knows? There are loose plot threads all over the place. But rather than conclude any of them, the game chooses to introduce new things at breakneck speed. It's constantly one thing after another, and everything is pure ramp up with no downtime, and everything suffers for it. Alright, I already discussed the gameplay a little bit, but here's a breakdown of Mind's Eye. This is GTA without the open world parts. Or if the main story missions in GTA were just chained together with no breaks in between. Jacob Diaz will talk to someone in a cutscene, drive somewhere through an almost empty city that doesn't really matter, arrive at a destination, shoot people or robots, drive back to the quest giver, then repeat until the game ends. That's it. Drive and shoot over and over again. The driving's pretty good, although the GPS routing is terrible and there's no map to bring up, just a mini-map at the top of the screen. It also won't route if you're on foot, so you get lost quite a bit along the way. You can only drive the vehicles the game gives you, so no picking up random cars or trucks from the street. You drive a car or a flying car only when the game tells you that you can. Then there's nowhere to go in the city except for the destination it gives you. For combat, it's really bad. Worse than GTA and on the level of, say, Watch Dogs. They even give you a little robot companion that you can use magic like hacking, lightning bolts, and fireball with short recharge times. Like I said before, the enemy AI is brain dead. The guns aim and shoot terribly, the cover system is janky, you die far too easily, the enemies spawn in really strange locations, sometimes behind you and around you without any warning. They also blend into the background really easily since a lot of the combat takes place at night, so you're constantly spamming the highlight button to mark them. Look, I don't want to sound all negative, but Mind's Eye is like a bad game. Not in the ha ha ha, this game is so bad it's good kind of way, but in the so bland it's boring kind of way. I was desperate to find something I liked in it, but every part of it has its problems, which sucks because there's hints of greatness here. Alright, let's go into the pros and cons of Mind's Eye. For the pros, the driving is pretty fun, and I had a laugh driving over cliffs at high speed and flipping through the air. A few of the characters are memorable, and the voice acting is pretty good for the most part. There are some interesting story concepts and ideas that would have been great if they had been explored more. For the cons, somewhere, someone in the development cycle took a hatchet to the story and just tossed or changed chunks of it. It's barely coherent. The combat isn't really good, and the graphics on console gave me a headache at times in order to keep a stable FPS. So, to answer the question, no, Mind's Eye isn't worth playing on console. I got this game for free, so I'm not upset that I played it. I didn't get it from the developer, but rather I got a used copy for free, but I wouldn't pay more than $5 or $10 for Mind's Eye. I'm the Casual Console Gamer on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next review.